got to get the kids out of the room, get them out from backstage also, because mature subject matter ahead, okay? Now, you know I can't resist a Jewish guy. Everybody knows that. Both my husbands, Jewish. And our next guest is my ultimate fantasy, a rabbi who talks dirty. Hello! In his new book, Kosher Lust, sex expert Rabbi Shmuley Boteach reveals why love may be ruining your marriage. Yeah. Please welcome Rabbi Shmuley Boteach.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Joy.
Okay, now you're Jewish, you're a rabbi, and your latest book is called Kosher Lust.
Yep.
Do you have to be Jewish to enjoy lust?
Are you kidding? I'm going to sell this book to absolutely everybody. And Joy, we've been friends a long time, but I deny you nuclear-fueled, rocket-powered sex. Come on, it's even for the uncircumcised, kosher lust is a cut above. It's there for everybody.
Oh,
so.
my God.
Let's go. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. You have 9 kids.
You have 9 kids. 2
grandkids. You've been married to your wife for 27 years. Now, most people think that love is the foundation of a relationship, but you actually say it's lust?
I think love is actually ruining our relationships because it gives us this nurturing, comforting, friendship kind of bond that is nice, but it's not electrifying. Now, we know that women don't want to be loved because if they did, they would never leave their parents' household. Their parents don't divorce them. Their parents don't cheat on them. A guy might do that to you. What women want is to be chosen, and it's the one thing your parents can't do for you. To be chosen is to feel desired at all times. We need to be needed, we want to be wanted, we desire to be desired. And by the way, in the Bible, there is no commandment to love your wife. There is a commandment to lust after your wife. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, which means by direct implication, you sure as heck ought to be coveting your own.
That's a stretch.
Well,
I like that stretch. I like that stretch.
Think about that one for a little bit. Well, the book also references 3 things that any marriage needs to survive, and you call them the 3 pillars of lust. So explain what those 3 pillars are.
Well, look, you know, Steve Jobs made this the most successful product launch in the history of the world, not just because of its technology, and I don't work for Apple. He did 3 things. He didn't want us to love this phone. He wanted us to lust after the phone. He wanted us to wait online the way that Romeo waited outside of Juliet's balcony, as if it was something you could not live without.
They were 16 and they just met.
So think about it. The first thing he did is, the first rule of lust is unavailability. You make the phone unable to be bought. You have this unquenchable desire. Now, marriage is the opposite. It's where there's constant satiation of sex when really sometimes there should be obstacles to sex. The first rule of lust is we always want what we can't have, so unavailability.
True. That's true.
The second thing is that Apple never talks about their products before they launch it. They go into hyper-secrecy. Because mystery is the second rule of lust. And on marriage is way too open. We do everything in front of each other. We take care of our hygienic needs. We think it's about sharing absolutely everything. It's not. It's absolutely not. There's a mysterious dimension that always has to be maintained.
Isn't that lingerie? Like, not for other people to see, but just your husband?
Yeah.
Or is that like me not burping in front of everybody that I date?
That's what he means.
I can't have that.
Okay, I have no comment on that in particular, but...
I'm open. I'm with you.
You have to have a healthy element of mystery. And the final thing is sinfulness. Marriage is way too legal. You know, most women are much more sexual than men. You know, we have this vision of the guy...
Wait. Women are more sexual than men?
Much more sexual. The men are uni-orgasmic. The guy, I mean, right after the guy has sex, you can call the morgue. He's a dead man. You have a corpse in the bed next to you. And women are multi-orgasmic, and we have this idea that the guy says to his wife, you know, how about some sex tonight? And she says, not tonight, I have a headache. But a man can have an axe lodged in his head, you know, and he's still ready. It's not true. Women have much more elaborate sexual fantasies than men, and they are very aware of all the men who hit on them. And you know what? This is an amazing thing. They would never tell their husbands about that. I mean, Candace, would you ever share something like that with your husband? That this guy was hitting on me, or this guy I think is interested in me?
You do tell them, don't you? I would.
Look at her.
I'm sorry.
I don't know, because
You don't think he can handle it, right?
Probably not. No, he could handle it, but I don't know that there's a reason to, because it's just like, why do I want to tell my husband all these men are desiring after?
Well, not just because of that, because if you don't...
Like it's a respect
well, think
thing.
about it. Number one, it means that we're actually denying our essential sexuality even within our marriage. We're hiding things from each other. Number two, jealousy actually plays a vital role. We've demonized jealousy, we've demonized lust. Both of them are electrifying emotions that actually make us gravitate toward one another. The rule of thumb is this: no husband is interested in a wife that other men are not interested in, period.
You have those trophy wives. That's why you have those wives that are like,
But that's not on.
Go ahead.
So what happens when you hit that place in your marriage where you're not lusting after your spouse?
Yeah.
That's where
What
I
should
feel
you
like
do?
love goes into that action and as a verb. When you choose to continue to love, how do you then get the lust place when you've like you're at the bottom of that roller
When you're
coaster and
changing
you're like,
diapers and everybody's tired and all
you know
that
what?
stuff.
I'll tell you something. I actually believe it or not, that husbands unintentionally extinguish their wives' libidos. It's so much safer to have a wife that can't cheat on you. It's so much safer to have a wife that is safe. So we turn our wives into moms, and we turn our ladies into cleaners. And that's one of the reasons that the lust disappears. Marriage can't just have a pragmatic, practical side. It's the reason why it's boring us to tears. It's the reason why sex and marriage on the national average is 7 minutes at a
That
time.
long? I can't believe
I have
it.
a question. That's a long time.
It is
Rabbi.
7 minutes, but it includes the time he spends begging. So it does.
I have a question for you. A lot of people in the world think that the purpose of having sex is to achieve an orgasm.
Right.
Please tell us your feelings.
Well, you know, the thing
Quickly.
about orgasm gives
right.
pleasure, and it also purges any desire for further sex, so it's a contradiction. There should be non-orgasmic sex. What is foreplay? Foreplay is putting up erotic obstacles where you can't go any further. And I actually believe that sometimes you have to delay gratification. Some people call this tantric sex. I'm not saying to go on like staying for 7 years at a time, but I do think that you have to have non-orgasmic sex in order to build up lust. Lust is the foundation of our relationships. And without it, we don't have that electricity.
I gotta go, but I'm finding him very attractive today. Thanks to Rabbi Shmuley Boteach.